feel like a clown because it's bright. I was in love with the other, the dark, the darker purple, not the, I don't know, it won't come out on me.
So I guess Melissa's probably not having homework. She doesn't have to be at home for stuff.
I don't know. I think I need to mute. I don't think I'm muted.
Hello. Hi, hi. Hello, hello.
Hi, Sib.
Hi. Who's saying hi? Sorry, I gotta find you. I gotta find who's saying hi.
Hi, Sib.
Who is it?
It's Angie.
Oh, sorry, Angie, I can't see you. Oh, I see you moving now. Yep, I do see you. I do. I see you. Okay, nice. How exciting is this?
Yay. Oh my God, the kids go back to school tomorrow. I've had like 4 elementary kids at my school or at my house every day because of the strike, the teachers.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, trying to do that and then trying to run a normal day and watch all these kids, it's just been crazy. So they go back.
Teachers, huh?
Yeah. So they go back in the morning. Woo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Oh, you're so nice, Nicole. That's such a sweet thing to say. We're going to get started here pretty quick. We've got 3 minutes, so I will start right on time. And let's see, we are good. Somebody's opening up a bar, I can tell. Okay, let me see here. Oh. Okay, I muted everybody so that, the most loud thing ever is opening up an Isoline bar. Can you guys believe how loud those darn things are? I sometimes cannot believe how loud they are. But we will get started. This is really fun. I think that this is probably the most people I've ever seen on a call. We've got currently 30. Woohoo! 30. I will tell you that I feel like I'm competing with Justin Timberlake tonight and winning because Justin is in town and you guys are joining me. So he probably starts a little bit later, but I can still pretend, right? A girl can dream. So let's just wait a few more minutes, 2 more minutes, and then we will get this party started. I'm bringing sexy back. Woo! I know that that's what Lindsay is doing tonight.
Yeah, you should have seen her hair and makeup.
I did. I just got.
She was looking fancy.
She is one fancy lady. She does look fabulous, and I know Trudes is on this line, and I think she's going with Lindsay tonight. So those girls have been at the dry bar, and I'm like, that's fine. You guys go to the I'll handle this part of life. But isn't that the coolest thing that we can literally fly in? I mean, from Temecula, swoop. Oh, she's on the call. Swooped in, met Trudy at the dry bar, and is going to AT, and still making this call a priority. So I really do appreciate it. It's awesome. We've got 46 people on the line. That's a large SWAT team. I don't even think we need 46 to be called a SWAT team, but I'll take it. That's wonderful. Okay. It is exactly straight up 6 o'clock. Okay, so we're going to get started. And first of all, I really want to thank you guys for joining in tonight. I hope that this time really, really works well for you, because for the Fit, Fearless, and Fun team that I am honored to be the head cheese of, has been conducting calls at 4 o'clock on Wednesday afternoons for probably the last year. And we had our last 4 o'clock last Wednesday, knowing that we were going to start these SWAT team calls. So we didn't really market them very much because I was so worried about the confusion of that call, and we had another call right after that call. So starting tonight, these calls have been moved 2 hours for most of us. And I reside in Arizona, and Nicole Hammondtree, one of the other SWAT team leaders, resides in Arizona. Then you guys know of Shannon Cameron, who lives in Washington, and Lindsay Wine, who lives in California. So we're all in the Pacific time zone right now. Half of the year, when Phoenix doesn't change time and everyone else does, Nicole and I will be starting these calls at, I guess it will be, figure that out yet, but it's going to be a different hour. Let's see. We will be starting the calls. Yeah, it will for Phoenix. We don't change time, but you guys all do. So that's way down the line. So we've got plenty of time for that. But what we were hoping with this call was that you guys would be able to get home from work. I can't tell you how many people ceilings I got to see because the phone was in the car shooting up to the ceiling of their car, and they were taking the call on the way home, which I still commend, and I'm so thankful that they did that. This is a little bit different time, so people are home, people are at their desk, they're not cooking and getting kids fed and eating from their dinner table, but it's a really awesome opportunity to know that we've now got 65 people on the line. No stress, I'm wearing deodorant, I'm good. But this is a large attended call, so this is really cool. Anyway, what we've decided to do is form this collaboration. So I can't tell you how fortunate I feel knowing that these other leaders wanted to pick up where this team left off. And I have found that these Zoom calls work so well, and that you guys deserve them, quite honestly. I might speak for myself by saying that I think that my team deserves more. And I think that everybody believes that there's a missing link in some training. And to have 65 plus people on this call, 67, there must be something that you guys still want. You still want to learn more. You still want to hear from leaders. You still want to hear how we're doing it. So I think that that's going to be the beauty of this call. The way that we've got formatted right now is that I will always be handling the first Wednesday of the month, and then the second will be Lindsay, and then Shannon and Nicole. I think it's Shannon the third week, and then Nicole the fourth Wednesday. So you can anticipate that a different leader will be in charge of the call every single Wednesday. And it's not always going to be Sybil that's talking the first Wednesday of the month. It might be somebody from Sybil's team, or some other leader that I've worked with that's not SWAT team ladies. So I think that what you'll find with these calls is that you get a huge diverse variety of styles. And I still find it so funny that, I can teach the team that I lead something really important that they've got to do, and it's just been so helpful for me, and I found something that works. I'll tell the team at my meeting that I call tribe time, and they don't necessarily step in, and then it comes across from another leader, and they'll call me and say, "Oh my gosh, Sybil, can you believe it? This leader suggested that we post on our Facebook page every day, and it's made such a huge amount of change in my business." And I'm like, "Oh, really? Because I told you that like day one." So it just really depends on who you resonate with, who you hear from, who you really want to follow. And I think that that's, again, our beauty of having so many diverse leaders, so many different people that are interested in hearing from us and learning from us. And again, sometimes we don't want to hear it from our leader because we know that that she gets to go and buy a new pair of shoes if we do it the way she tells us to do it. But you hear it from me and you're like, "Oh my gosh, it made so much sense coming from Sybil." Well, I probably learned it from your leader. So we all are just really one big melting pot of ideas. And we're also going to try to keep you on the straight and narrow on stuff that does work versus stuff that doesn't work. All right. So we're all kind of in agreement with that. Let me tell you now that we're up to 83 people that we are recording these calls, but we are not publishing the links. I am really a stickler about that. And I always tell my teammates that unless they're in labor or delivering a child because they're a doctor, or they're dead, or they're dealing with a death, that they need to make a commitment to be on this call. And that might make a few people upset, and that is definitely not my my intent, but I do know that it's 30 minutes of your life. And I do know that most of the people on this call have probably told their leader that they want it, and they'll do anything it takes to get it. And they will, pay attention to all of the training, and they want more, and they're just sponges, and give it to me because I'm going to do it, and push me, Sybil, because I want this reset, and I want this, and I want that. And so if that's true, then I want you guys to make this Wednesday night 30 minutes a priority. We have, and maybe that's why we have, had the success that we've had. I don't want any sympathy here, but I was at a funeral in Boise, Idaho just yesterday, and I flew in today and just got home, and I knew that this call was my responsibility today. So I didn't make any excuses, and the other girls were like, "You got this?" I mean, this, of course I am, because it's a deal that I made with them. It's a deal that I made with myself, and it's a deal that I made with you guys. So you won't really find me canceling things. We had our tribe time here at my house yesterday. I wasn't here. Thankfully, they know where the key is. So there was still training that could happen, even though I was called out of town for an emergency, which I was. And I'm not suggesting that you have to have that sort of massive, crazy, almost obsessive dedication, but I am going to suggest that you do make this a priority, and each of us leaders will be given this recording to do with what they want. They won't be posted in our pages, but we'll be enrolling some people from this day on that maybe some of this information that has come up on these calls will be pertinent to these new people, or pertinent to your new people, or pertinent to a person that has to work through the night, or really has a very valid reason for not spending 30 minutes with us every Wednesday. But somebody in our tribe time brought up that commitment is a word that we use pretty loosely. And what does commitment really mean? And I thought about it, to put it in really good terms, and I think that this is a Jimmy the Butcher Smith ism. And he said, imagine being proposed to by a man that gets down on his knees and he says, "Will you be my wife? I'm 80% committed to you. Would you accept that proposal?" I wouldn't. And I think that that's kind of some of the difference between some of these top leaders and some others that say that they want to be top leaders. It's like that 20%. Are you totally committed, or are you 80% committed? Think about that. What is your level of commitment? Because if your level of commitment is not 100, and it doesn't have to be 100, don't do it for me. Commit to yourself, commit because you want this to be your thing. That's very evident to your team. If you're not 100% committed, if you're not showing up on the calls yourself, if you're not committing to 30 minutes on these calls every week, because this is really what's going on right now. I don't know anybody that's doing like fast track in our groups, and I don't know anybody that's got a conflicting gig going on. We tried to schedule these calls around the calls too. So think about that. What sort of commitment level are you really and truly in your heart? And what sort of commitment level are you projecting onto your team? I don't know how many teammates are on here, but I don't think that there's anybody on this call that could say that they're on my team, they know me, and that I am anything but 100% committed. And that's something that I'm really proud of. And it didn't happen overnight. I probably started off working about 5 hours a day. Then it started being about 8 to 9 hours a day. So I actually experienced my 3-year isoversary yesterday. And so, that first year it was about 3 to 5. And then the next year, my second year, it was about 5 to 8. And now it's about 8 to 24 hours a day. No, I still sleep, but I love this so much. And it doesn't feel like work to me. And I really understand the importance of laying a strong foundation right now. I can just keep that foot on the gas and even push it down further for probably the first 5 years. Because if I do that, I have a huge foundation. Then that establishes a big, huge pool of people that I can then rank advance, pull up, and build and spend time with. But you got to be enrolling like a mad woman, you know, your at least first 2 years, 3 years. Don't ever take your foot off the gas. And if you love this the way that we love it, you won't want to. So that's really what there is to know about commitment. So the first, you know, just ground rules here. Oh, thank you. Happy Iceversary, somebody just said to me. So it's a big deal. I mean, 3 years, this has been 3 years, some of the best years. And it hasn't really been a lot of work. I get to work here in my room. I'm wearing like pajama bottoms right now, even though my hair is fancy. My pants are not. And that's what we get to do, right? I mean, who gets to get paid this kind of, I mean, this is real money and work in their underwear. I don't know any other profession that's actually allowed and appropriate, but it is in this business. Okay. So we are going to record the calls. You guys can reach out to your leaders and ask about those calls and about the Vimeo codes and all that stuff on a need to know basis. Because I mean, just shake your head or give me a thumbs up or something if you think that that's okay. Are we all in agreement that that's okay, that we make this a commitment? Because we are. Yeah, getting paid to work in your underwear, Kelly, I get it. Did everyone free? Okay, yeah, so you guys are okay with that. Because really, it is, we're making the commitment, and there's a lot of stuff out there that we could be doing. I mean, I could probably be backstage with Justin Timberlake right now, but oh no, I'm doing this with you ladies. I didn't get invited. I'm sure my invitation got lost. I'm sure he wanted me there backstage, but whatever. Anyway, it's 30 minutes. And again, if you have that posture that this is 30 minutes that you're not going to miss, then that's going to show to your team. And your teams will then start understanding, like when you start quoting things that you've learned on these calls, oh my gosh, tell me calls. They know you're on there and they see your little face. I just think that, you know, our philosophy and our policies are do everything, do something, go to something. If there's a tasting and in your area and you don't have anybody going to that tasting, does that mean that you shouldn't go? Heck no, go. Those are where I've learned so much stuff about our nutrition because I'm not very sciencey, but I still go. So it's really a matter of just, it speaks volumes. If you guys are present, if you guys are showing up on these calls, if you guys are showing up in comments on recordings and pages and lives and tastings and trainings and Super Saturdays and then all the corporate stuff, your team knows and they're following you. And there's nothing worse than working your behind off 15 hours a day and knowing that your enroller didn't show up and she cycled 180 times more than you did that week. There's nothing that makes me more cranky, but it's part of our compensation plan and it happens. So if you really and truly want to be the type of leader that is congruent with your philosophies and everything that you stand for, show up. Just show up. Earn your money is really what I like to remind our leaders. If you wake up on Monday morning and you get your check, look at that check and say, did I really work for that? Or was it just like magical that it just got handed over? There's some of it that's like, there really is. There's some of it that I worked and I mean, it's blood, sweat, and tears, some of those cycles, you guys. But I've been at it a while. I feel like I've worked hard and I've missed a lot of Justin Timberlake concerts, but I'm doing this and I'm going to do it. And I mean, it is absolutely my goal, and it takes a lot of priority in my life. I was in a previous company and I had a lot of soccer games, And that was not a huge problem because there was always about 17 more the next day. And at the end of that year, missing so many soccer games, I got to take my children to Prague or Rome or France or, you know, whatever it is that my company was offering that year. And I made sure that my kids understood that this was a family affair. It was a family effort. So however that makes you feel, try to turn it into a positive thing. Try to incorporate these calls. Have your kids sitting with you if you want to have them hear the crazy lady in the Zoom thing. But that's really kind of my philosophy on a lot of this stuff. And I really think that, you know, the speed of the leader is the speed of the pack. If you are investing the time, it's okay. You actually have my permission to ask your teammates to join you on this call too. But they're not going to join you. And I really don't think you have the permission to ask them to join you if you're not on it also. They're going to look for you. They can scan through the participants. They can see through the screens, the Brady Bunch picture, who's on and who's not. So that's a little bit about that. But know that you can reach out to your leader and ask about that particular recording. What we're going to cover next is we're going to talk about what you guys want from these calls. So I'm going to give you guys my phone number, and I want you guys to text me the topics that you feel that you need to know more about. You can put them in the chat too, but after this call is over, I'd have to go back and look at the recording to see what you guys want. So I'm going to give you my phone number. I mean, that's kind of loosey-goosey of me, but I'm doing it. I'm giving 99 people my personal phone number. So it is 208, write this down, you're going to want 208-850-5273. So 208-850-5273. When you text me, I want you to give me your name, full name, first and last, and I want you to tell me what team you're from, like mine, Lindsay's, Nicole's, or Shannon's, or someone else's. If it's Tanya's, Trudy's, really anybody, because a lot of people know about this call. And I want you to tell me what topic it is that you feel that it would be very advantageous to you and your team for us to explore a little bit more. Some ideas would be like social media, tastings. I know that somebody has already asked about retention, back office, team retreats. We do something called Tribe Time, and it is a really hot topic right now that I'm very proud of. You can ask more of that because the weeks that I'll be covering this, I'll be having my leaders come on too. Each of us kind of have our own little niche. And so this is your opportunity to text me, because I'll be the keeper of the topic page. And from it, we will build our agenda for these calls moving forward. Because, you know, some people are really good. Oh, can someone please repeat the text number? 208-850-5273. I'm already getting topics, by the way. So this is exciting. You guys are liking this. Do you guys like having some ownership in what we cover? Oh, there's our second person. Recruiting for those who are not wanting to lose weight. Okay, love it. So it's about owning this, you guys. And again, if you have your own ownership in this, thanks, Nicole, then you guys can hop on here and tell your team, guess what? They're covering the topic that I wrote in about. This is really important to me, you know, and I asked that they cover blah, 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 blah. So let's, you know, make sure that we're on this. And the other thing that I think is really important to know about these topics that you're writing in about, sometimes we're going to put that right on back at you, because I've learned so much when I've been put in a position to speak about something oftentimes I ask for them to have me speak about something I don't know very well, because it makes me good at it. It makes me hone my skills. And most of this is self-taught, because as you know, 3 years ago yesterday, I started this. Trudy was probably like maybe a manager at that point. She wasn't a 17-star gazillionaire just yet. So we were learning as we went. We were fumbling around. So I often remind you guys that people coming onto the team now are at so much of an advantage because we've already streamlined a lot. We already have Evernotes, and we have recordings, and we have trainings, and we have videos, and we have philosophies, and we have so many more people out there that know about isogenics because we have big mouths. But maybe, 20,000 people ago when I enrolled, it was a little bit harder to explain why our whey protein was different. So do you look at that as a positive thing, or do you look at that as, it's a saturated market, oh my gosh, I'm just going to fail? No, you're going to go because we want to establish this for you guys. So I think it's really important to know that we don't know everything. When I opened my brown box, it didn't give me special mind reading qualities. A lot of my teammates were like, Sybil, you knew that we needed to know more about John Anderson and his drafts. And I'm like, no, actually, I didn't know that because I didn't get a special skill in my box. Everybody gets the same box, right? So you have to be really out there with it. And it's just like being, responsible for your own health when you go to the doctor. Be responsible for your own training when you're around leaders that are asking you, what do you want to know from us? Speak up and tell us what you want to know, because that's what this is about. We don't want to, keep on repeating the same thing. If you guys don't need to know anymore, you +2, them +2, then we'll move on to the next thing. But I think that there's a lot of information out there that we have assumed that you guys know. I think the way that I look at this is I enrolled with a bunch of people that were running, and we just went turbo speed and crossed over a whole bunch of the basics. And, oh yeah, Teresa, 3-way calls. So we crossed over the basics. We totally passed over them because we were running so fast that we didn't have time to slow down and train all the waves of the newbies that came in. But this is your time. This is your opportunity to get, let us back up and get everybody up to speed. Our team, we're making videos like we just made opening the value pack video, and it was a little scary, but it was awesome too. And so each team has now this groupings of videos, shake day videos, and some people are doing great things with Marco Polo, and we can talk again about what is working. In our group, we call it what's hot, what's not. And it's how we open some of our team calls. What is working? Let's not do the stuff that's not. What did you do last week that was just crushing it? What did you do last week that didn't work? Because we don't even want to go there. So please, please, please text in some topics that you guys own and want and would love to hear more of. And I think that would probably be the smartest use of our time, the smartest use of your time, to know that you guys get to pick our brains. It would be like, I'm not as big of a deal as Kathy Coover. Let's just put it out there. But if I had 30 minutes with Kathy Coover and I could ask her anything, believe me, I would. So let's definitely own this. And on those nights, again, you'll know what the topic is that's coming up. If this is something that you've asked for, let your team know. I wrote in, and this is something that I think is really important for our team, because you guys can grab all of your tribe, listen in on the call, and own this thing that you guys want more of. And I often tell other teammates, not necessarily personally enrolled in our group, but if they're waiting for something, that for their leader to do something that they need to possibly go create it themselves, because there's no reason for that leader to do it. That leader is already a gazillionaire. She doesn't need to be covering how to do a power post. But maybe this is your chance to ask one of us, because we'll totally do it. You need to know what it is that you guys want. So that's a little bit more about that kind of stuff. And I'm getting just flooded with awesome topics. I love it. And really, this is another time that you guys should really learn that if it's a 30-minute call, you're going to be on it. You know that your topic is going to be covered. How do you guys get information to your teams to let them know, jump on this wacky call with me? Do you just post it on your business page? Do you just put it in Messenger? Or do you leave a voice text saying, hi, Fit, Fearless, and Fun team. I'll be going live in 30 minutes on our crazy Zoom call tonight. I hope that you join us. I mean, do you make it you? Do you make it really, really something that everybody's exposed to? Do you create a Facebook event about these calls for your team? Depending on what level that you are at in this business, your leader might already do a Facebook event. But maybe you wish that they did. And if that's the case, learn to do one for you and your 2 people even. Learn to do it for you and your 5 people. It's got to start somewhere. And I think that this is a team, because we are related to so many really successful leaders. You guys, a lot of people sit and wait for the leaders to create it, develop it, produce it, put it out there for everybody to use. And maybe you guys should start just taking some big steps and create the Facebook event yourself. And what that sends, that message that sends to your team that you are a leader, step into it. If you're on this call, instead of at Justin Timberlake or eating dinner with your family, or rather than being at a soccer game, it must mean that you want it. So if that's the case, think about that. How are you going to convey to your team that you do want them to join this call with you? I've also told a number of people that aren't doing Zoom calls yet that the most smart thing that you could possibly do is decide today that you're going to start doing Zoom calls with you and your 2 or 3 or 5 or 18 people. Your calls are going to be on Thursday nights. And the reason that they're going to be on Thursday nights is because you're going to listen in to us on Wednesday nights, take a million notes, and just do the topic that we did. You don't need to recreate the wheel, because it's going to be fresh in your head. It's going to be valid. It's going to be pertinent. If there's free shipping during the week, we'll obviously be talking about that. If there's a shake drop, we'll be covering that topic. So it's going to be something that's going on in the company, in the business right now. So it's just working smarter, not harder. And from it, you guys can all do this. This doesn't take rocket science. If you're scared of Zoom, there's something called Messenger Live that you can put multiple people on. Many of you don't know about House Party, but that's a fun app that you can load on and have this little Brady Bunch set up too. So that is 30 minutes of me talking nonstop about our little rules and restrictions and guidelines and parameters. And I've received quite a few in already that you guys are, letting me know. Oh, I've got 20 texts already. So after we hang up, which is going to happen in about 30 seconds, I want you to think a little bit more about some of the topics that you guys want to hear from us. What is the second app again? House Party. House Party is the second app. Or Messenger Live, which is part of your Messenger. You just have to set it up and add people to it. You bet. So anyway, on that note, we are always going to hold to our original commitment of 30 minutes. If there's just real crazy stuff going on and people go over and talk a little bit, we just ask that you stay on for your 30 minutes. You don't need to stay on if somebody's going on rambling about something that isn't one of your biggest concerns. You, of course, can hang up after 30 minutes, but there will be some times, I'm sure, that somebody will have a kind of an off-topic question. But we didn't tonight because I didn't unmute any of your lines. All right, so I'm going to let you all go and get back to your families. We will see you next Wednesday, same time, same station. I appreciate every single one of you. I guess I could, I'm going to keep you all muted because that's kind of crazy. There's so many of you, and this is so cool. Yeah, so we got up to 100 people on this line, so I really appreciate it. Same time, same station, next week, Wednesday. text me right away. I'll start creating a list of topics and we'll just take it from there, you guys. Thank you so much for your time. We absolutely appreciate everything that you do for the whole organization. Have a great night. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, Sybil.
Bye, Sybil.
Thanks, Seb.
Bye,
Thank
Seb.
you so much.
Thank
Oh,
you.
you guys are muting yourself. I'll stay on and listen.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Sybil.
Bye. Thanks so much
Thank
for
you.
joining tonight. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Bye.
Still on.